Everyone, this is Lavalais from the Lavalais and Ella Live Show. I'm your host with my co-host, Miss Ella.
Other way. The other way.
That way?
Yeah, the other way.
That way. It's that way. I got you. How you doing? Hey, Ella, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? It's been a good week, a tiring week, right? Everybody's feeling a little bit weary this week.
Who's jamming and who's sticking? I don't know who that is. I hope it's not me. I'm carrying on. So,
you are sticking a little bit, but we're gonna keep on going. Gonna say hi to everybody that is here with us on the Lavalais and Ella Live Show. Happy Friday to all of you. It's good to be here. I was telling Lavalais earlier, it feels like fall here in Philadelphia. It's just a little bit cooler in the mornings. Seasonally, it's feeling like we're going into that colder weather soon, and he tells me that it's like up in the 90s where he is. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's not fall right there.
now there's no fall here whatsoever.
Okay.
It went from 100 and something to now it's 95 and something. So
Wow.
it's not very much of a break.
No, it's not. I mean, does it ever get cooler there?
It's still cooler because it was 115, so 90 something feels like it's cooler. And then in the morning it's 70, so 70 feels really cool in the morning.
Okay. All right. Well, I always wonder, like, does it ever, hit the 50s or 60s there, but maybe not. Like it
No.
does. No. Okay. I mean, that's a no. Okay. As we continue, got to say hi to the people who are entering the room. I know you're taking your time. Got to give a shout out to Manhattan. I see you. Welcome and thank you for checking in with us.
All right, Manhattan, New Orleans.
Yeah, you're the first person to put the chat in. I love it. You got there before our number one person who always comes in, Fern, and we have to give a shout out to her as well, and just send her some love. Definitely, she's going through something right now.
Yeah. Recently, her husband had a heart attack while he was driving his car and crashed his car. And
excuse me.
So she's having to deal with family matters in LA, as well as family matters in New York City with her mom. So it's got double duty going on right now.
So we just want to send her some love. She's always a great part of the BAM family. Also, I have to ask Lavalais, because you weren't here last week, what show were you doing and how did it go?
Oh, okay. Last week I was at a show called Art in Autumn. And the show was in Wichita, Kansas. So I've never been to Wichita other than an airport or something like that. Mm-hmm. So this is my first time doing this particular show. And I think my first summit, how I felt about the show at first was a very lonely feeling, as if you're in a world and you're not really a part of it, but you're there. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of felt like that for most of that particular show. And it wasn't, there were a couple of other Black artists in the show, but I don't know. It was the first time doing a show in the Midwest, and the Midwest was really a little bit very strange for me. cowboys, but people with money. They definitely are on the high end. And what I found out, as I was leaving town, that it's a very aviation hub sort of city. They have Beechcraft airplanes that they build there. Cessna is built there. Spirit Airlines has a base there. The Air Force has a big Air Force base there.
Oh, Wichita. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were training jets flying overhead, as the show was going on. So it was like that part of it was pretty interesting, but I didn't get a chance to really see very much of what Wichita itself was even really about, you know.
So sounds like an interesting show, but perhaps not as diverse as some of the shows that you've done in the past.
Yeah, oh, not a
Done a lot.
There was no diversity. One of the women said to me was that she was glad I was there because they really didn't have any diversity in the show. And it had been going on for 14 years. This is their 14th year. So they're so I have a strange I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys can tell me, but I don't know. But what do you do in that situation? It's not that you make a lot of money, you cover your expenses, you pocket a little change, but do you go back to that? Do you sacrifice? Do you say, okay, well, let me build on that. Let me be the black guy who has to tell them what a Adinkra symbol is, or explain to them about the Egyptian symbols that they see, or
yeah, I would think with any show that you are, let's call it a pioneer to that particular side of the world or that particular place, that show, you have to determine whether you want to go back and be more of an educator along with being a jeweler, or whether you just leave it alone for a minute and come back another time. If you see the potential there for you to be giving of yourself to that community, which is a bit sacrificial, I know, but yeah, I would look at it that way if I was in an environment where people did not know what an ankh was, but that could be somewhere in the Bronx, to be honest with you. Someone doesn't know what an ankh is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do a lot of shows where they don't know what the Janamis are.
Yeah.
So what's the meaning of that and so forth.
Right. So it can be an educational thing sometimes, and it continues to be. It doesn't matter how long you've been in business, that you're always educating your consumer as to what you're supposed to, what you're doing as an artist. Yeah.
It's a little.
Well, I think Lavalais is having some issues with his Wi-Fi over there.
We're spinning around, right?
Yes, having a little bit issues with your Wi-Fi, but we'll continue. I'm still here. Okay. I am still here. So I know you have also some upcoming shows, which I know you're excited about going to.
Yeah, I'm excited about going to Lafayette in October. I turned down another show that I had been doing that's close to home, and the name of this show will kill you anyway. This show would be the September 30th, that first weekend of October, and it's called the Red River Rebel.
Okay. Okay.
So, I've been doing that show for a very long time. I met a very famous drummer, Luther, at that show, and some other people up there in Shreveport that would come up on occasion.
Okay. I think again we may have lost him there for a few seconds. He's talking about his upcoming show in Lafayette that's coming up. When is it? In mid-October, Lavalais?
Yeah, it's going to be October the 13th and 14th, 15th, I think, that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Main show is Saturday and Sunday. But they're going to have, it's a musical festival, and the primary music that's going to be played at this particular event is going to be Zydeco.
Okay.
So,
that should draw out a good crowd.
yeah, it's a Cajun Creole festival. So it's going to be that kind of Cajun Creole music with Zydeco and that kind of food. And,
Okay. Beautiful.
You know, and there's 2 days and a whole bunch of, I mean, there's just a big lineup of, and there's also going to be some reggae on the bill. So
this is mid-October, October. Give the dates again.
13th, I think.
13th, 14th, 15th in Lafayette. So yeah, if you're in the area, go check out Lavalais. It should be a good show with all that wonderful music for sure. Excuse me, I have a sore throat. I've got my ginger tea right here. I'm just going to sip on this.
So what's going on with you in the shows? Have you?
Yeah, upcoming, I have the I Am Beautiful show, which is October 6th and 7th here in Philadelphia. And it's a small group show of great artists, mostly from New York. Mel is part of the lineup, and also Tribal Truths and Ashanti Fields. So that again is October 6th and 7th. And if you go to my website or my Facebook page, I will post it sometime soon with the information for that particular show. But this is like the 6th or 7th time we've done it, and we always have a wonderful time, it's a good experience. So make sure you come out.
Yeah, these gremlins are putting us. I hear me and I don't hear you. And so that's what the dates are again for that. October the what?
October 6th and 7th here in Philadelphia. Okay, it's a Friday night and an all-day Saturday event. So come if you're in the area. If you want to come down from New York or DC, come on up. It's a good show. Definitely.
And you host that show, I presume.
I do host that show. It's my event, and I invite my lovely friends and artists to be a part of it. And right now, it's all women show, so all female artists, and we usually have a really good turnout and good vibes, and we have a good time. So if you want to come by, please do.
That's great. They got it going on in Philly, y'all. So if y'all out there, you better go to Philly and check out. I mean, Mel is gonna be in there, and Tribal Truths, Brenda.
That's right. Ashanti Fields, and a few more wonderful artists. Renee Bolden, she will be there. So, and Denise Goring also will be at the show.
Oh.
So come check us out.
Right.
And speaking of Mel, she is going to be our guest artist for next Friday. So make sure you check out the show next Friday. It's going to be a big show. We're going to be showing some pieces. I am going to be showing fall hats. So get excited for that, because I'm excited about all the new colors. It's so good to use a different material, go from straws to felts. I'm very excited about what I'm going to show. So next week, fall collection. It will be all uploaded to the website, and I will be showing some of the hats on the show next Friday. So make sure you stay tuned to mark it in your books.
Yeah, I saw quite a few felt hats in Wichita. Probably more so on the cowboy style.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
If it wasn't that, it was like this big floppy hat that they would have pulled down.
Okay, so there were some milliners there. or you're talking
No,
about
there were
people
no
walking around the
milliners.
show?
No, there was no milliners, no fabric, nothing in that range.
Okay.
Everything was everything was jewelry and paintings, um, wood, ceramics, everything, and jewelry. And uh, the jewelers that I was competing with were all diamonds and gold and
All
stuff
right.
like that. So
All right. I think it's good to stretch out and go to different areas of the country. We do tend to stay in, Chicago and Detroit and, New Orleans, New York. I'm looking forward to checking out other parts into the Midwest. And I understand that as I do, I might be a bit too much. The designs might be a bit too out there for that customer base, but that's okay. I want them to see what I do. So I have one show in mind for July 4th weekend next year in Denver, which is the Cherry Creek Arts Festival. It's been around. It has an extremely good reputation. It's been around for a very long time. And my goal is to make it out to Denver in July.
yeah, I guess you're gonna try and get into Cherry Creek, and if you don't get into Cherry Creek, also apply for some of the off shows that are there at that particular
Yes,
time. That's always I mean that is premier show in the country for that particular time of year.
it is. I believe it's definitely top 10, maybe top 5 shows in the country.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know we're talking black and white because that's what basically, the shows end up being. You either, the majority of the shows that I do are primarily, I would consider them black shows because 99.9% of the people who come to the shows that I do and go to, except for New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, which is basically more, I mean, it's
It's
kind of a rare.
international, multicultural show.
Yeah, it's a very multicultural show, but on the overall spectrum of it, it's more of a white thing than it is, for the black people to come out. They come out and they come out for Frankie Beverly and Mays, and they don't really spend a lot of money when they do come out. It's that entertainment because that's $75 basically for that ticket for that day. So that's $150 for you and your lady plus your food. So you drop in a couple hundred easy, and then you won't really want to spend a couple of hundred on an art item like a hat or a piece of jewelry or something like that. It really gets a little hard for people to do. Yet on the other hand, at the other shows that I just did, and nobody ever said anything about, well, uh, can I get 10% off, or
Can I get a deal for 2?
if
Yeah,
I buy two,
yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, I love my customer base, and I'm very grateful for the loyalty that people have given me over the years. But sometimes it crushes you when someone says, "Can I get a deal for 2?" when you've already given them in your mind, and they don't know this, but you've already given them the deal. If
of
you've already
course.
given them the break. So yeah, because you know that they're loyal, and you see them coming, and you're like, okay, I'm going to give them a certain price, and then they want another breakdown. It's like just so love you customers, but sometimes that can crush us as artists, especially when we make everything, so can be tough.
Yeah, so but I'm going to participate more in that arena a little bit more because, I mean, it's easier on me as a person to do that show too. I can do that show or that kind of show by myself. I don't need someone else to help
The
me. Uh,
with the one in
prepare.
Denver, the one in Denver.
The, the one in Denver, I would probably have someone with me because it's such a heavy show. But I mean, like the little art fairs where where it's primarily art and it's free to the public. And they provide maybe some kind of little entertainment, whatever that is. Like the the Lafayette show will be like that. It's providing music, but it's going to be free to the public. Nobody has to pay. Where on the other hand, when you do Chicago, everybody's got to pay to come in. The only thing in Brooklyn for me, BAM, is a free show. It doesn't cost anybody to come and shop, because it's a marketplace. And so people come and spend their money because, that's the reason why they're coming. And for most art fairs or art shows that are put on by, and there's one in almost every city, sometimes in different communities within those cities. You know what I mean? So there's just tons of them to do, but I haven't. I really, just like I said, I haven't. It hasn't been on my to-do list because I've been doing my thing for a long, long time, and I think it's time to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and that's where I'm coming from. I just want to, yes, been around for a long time, but still want to grow, and still there's plenty of people that have not seen my work. So I want to step into some different arenas, definitely, because you get comfortable sometimes. You get comfortable with the particular events, like, oh, I love doing this. I'm going back to it year after year after year, and you love it because you see the same customers, and it feels like family, and it's a feel good show. But then there's something that makes you uncomfortable, and stepping into something new that's like, oh, it causes anxiety and stress, but it helps you to grow and expand and step into newness. So that's what I'm looking for.
You see a lot of great art. You see a lot of things that spark your interest or spark your mind, from other great artists or whatever, so you get ideas from participating in those in that arena. You know what I mean? So
not only that, if you think you're good at what you do, you want to show more people the fabulousness of who you are. Like, look at what I do. And people might be so blown away that it's like it's a non-sale kind of show. Like, oh wow, not quite sure what to make of this. It's woo, like, okay, but you've presented yourself to the world at a different show. So always, I feel, step up, step onwards, move into different realms. However long you've been doing it, keep on pushing. That's my personal opinion, anyway.
Yeah, sometimes people have a hard time understanding or foreseeing all the things that go into the work that I do. I mean, they see a bracelet or they see a necklace or something like that, or a ring, and they never realize that, that was just a piece of bamboo at one point in time. That was not what it is right now. That.
Right.
So I also have to do that thing. And Robbie, I was talking to Robbie, and Robbie does a lot of shows like that also, and he was trying to tell me that, hey, yeah, you need to make sure that they understand the process of what it is that you do. Where you the things that you put into doing the work that you do, you need to say that so that they can see that.
I tell you one thing that I think we, or the group of artists that I know that we lack in, is we don't show people or explain to people enough how we do our work. We don't show them the process. And I'm thinking of this because I walked a show last weekend, the Rittenhouse Art Festival, which is here in Philadelphia. And it's an all art show, fine art, a little bit of sculpture. And I was highly impressed with how the people's booths were laid out, very clean, all the artists sat outside of their booths. They took their energy outside of their booths, allowed the work to speak for itself. That was number one. And many of them had little a little table with a little booklet that with a few pages in it, pictures or drawings of how their process, how they did their work. So I thought that that was a wonderful idea to have at my next show, probably starting next year, is to have somewhere in my booth, if anybody's interested, a book that shows you my processes, so you have an idea of what you're looking at. Like, okay, so you could have a small bamboo tree, little bit of bamboo, like this has gone to this, and a little bit of in between of like, this is what I do.
No, that's definitely relevant. Right now, I'm trying to make I'm making a bigger effort for the bamboo and stuff like that. And one of the things that I've sold the most of this past spring, summer months are my bamboo belts that I make, and I've been making these for a long period of time. They sort of wrap around the body and then tie in place, and it's lots of little bamboo. But in order to get it, I have to burn the design onto the bamboo. I got to polish the bamboo. I got to cut the bamboo. I got to polish the bamboo again. Then I got to clean the bamboo out. So I have to do quite a bit in order to get it to the point to where I even can start to make the belt that I want to make the belt out of. So I'm trying to get those kinds of things out the way right now. And I spent the last couple of days outside in the heat burning bamboo.
It's almost like we need to see pictures of that, because when someone comes into your booth, you tell people, I hand make this, whatever you're spieling, but pictures say 1,000 words. And it's, to show people, this is me burning, this is me doing this in 100-degree weather, just a series of pictures. It makes more sense in the people's minds as to why it's a certain price. Number one, like I just to say I handmade it doesn't really connect. I handmade it, and here's the processes. Here's all the steps that I did to get to finished product, which is now $165 or $250, and you can see why. And they're like, aha, I get it. So,
yeah, I think I'm gonna do that in one of those video frames. I think I would like to have like those images within the frame, like the frame that's behind you or something like that.
Okay, yes.
That frame is also a part of the booth, and then it sort of tells the story. It keeps going over and over and over again about the thing. I think that's where I'm gonna go with that. That's a good idea.
Yes. So any artists watching, I just want to say I was very, very impressed with this particular show that I went to. Walking around, I would say 90% of the booths were like that, in that they were next level, and the presentation was on point, and you could see the shopping was going on, and these were not cheap products. These were people with paintings for $5,000, $10,000, and just to show their process, people understood the work a little bit more. Anyway, I'm not going to go any more on about it. I just thought it was a good idea. Yeah.
Hey, so I see Tite is in the house, and I know she's always the first weekend jazz fester. So and Ether is also in the house, who's also a volunteer at Jazz Fest every year. So I don't know if you're in New Orleans or in Connecticut now, but I know that Jazz Fest now has an additional Thursday date for first weekenders. So it'll be a 4-day weekend so now Jazz Fest is going to be 8 days.
8 days, yes. If you've never been, it is a bucket list event to go to, definitely. You'll see different artists on both weekends. Lavalais and I almost always do the second weekend. Tite is in the first weekend, and it's usually 3 and 4 days. Next year is going to be 4 days and 4 days, so you get an opportunity to shop with the artists and enjoy all the entertainment and the food for 4 days, both weekends. So that's a new exciting thing to be a part of. Must go to Jazz Fest at least once in your life, right?
Yeah, I love Jazz Fest. I mean, I have the greatest time at that particular show, and it's one of those shows where the way Carl controls it's very nice because everything is in place. You don't have, there is some chaos, but it's minimal compared to other shows. Because all the booths are pre-set up for you. All you have to do is go in and design it, and they really specify that you actually try to put in some work in terms of your booth display.
It's a highly organized show. I'm always grateful for Carl Washington and his staff. They always hold it down for us in Congo Square. So yeah, it's an easier show to do than some others where physically it can be quite demanding to be out there.
Yeah, I had Carl with me in Chicago, right? So, and one of these guys that they're kind of new, they've been doing jewelry for a minute or something. They're from out of California. And I think they have some kind of like stock jewelry or something like that. But anyway, the guy, I had seen the guy at Capitol Jazz Fest, and then so there he was in Chicago, and I said, "Well, hey man, how was Essence?" He said, "Oh man, it was great. We had a great time. We got to do this, got to do that, and aside from that, got to meet the guy from Jazz Fest and Lawrence Jazz and Heritage Festival, and Carl was standing right there."
He's like, "Oh, really? You met me?" Okay.
Yeah, and the guy still didn't know it. When we were walking over to try to get our things for the tent, I said, "Hey man," I said, do you know the guy who was that you were talking to, right?" He said, "No, I didn't know that." I said, "Yeah, but that was the guy that was
Funny.
you were talking to right there." So.
Carl can be very undercover sometimes. He likes to blend in, so that's a good thing. Yeah. But listen, we've talked about some shows. We talked about some of our upcoming events. We will be announcing next week our anniversary show date. We haven't quite pinpointed it yet, but it will be coming up. So we'll be announcing it next week. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah, people, we're going to get back on the roll with bringing you some different artists and showing you some different stuff. We getting ready for that winter time, right? Is that what it's?
Sorry. I heard a noise over there. I was like, what was that? Yes. Getting ready for fall, winter. Yes, it's coming. I like the seasons. I don't like it when it's too cold, but I definitely love this time of year up in the Northeast. It feels good. So next week.
So will your winter hats have a theme this year?
A theme? No real theme. They're definitely fall colors. I'm very excited. I got some, I have new felts that have arrived from Australia, and beautiful colors. I will be showcasing mustards and golden yellows and oranges, colors that I have not been able to get in at least 10 years. So I'm very excited to work with it. And so no real theme, but definitely fall colors.
Well, those sound like the colors that you were inspired by with your trip to Mexico.
You're probably right. That inspiration doesn't always become quite apparent immediately. It kind of just seeps into you. So yeah, it's coming out now. So when was I in Mexico? I think I was there in June. So and also Barcelona in July. So those color combos definitely are coming through in the fall collection. So maybe that's the theme.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sort of sounds like it, sometimes, it just sleeps upon you and you don't really know
Yeah.
it, but it's because of something that already happened to you before.
Yeah. And I want to see more of what you've been doing with AI. I know I saw some of your experimental pieces in Chicago. So are we going to see more of that work?
Oh yeah. Man, it's so amazing. I like on my trip to Kansas, I didn't finish it, but I had finally found out that one of the things that's a good symbol for them was the sunflower. So I said, okay, so let me check out, let me see what I could do to make some kind of a sunflower or something, in the bamboo and the sterling silver. So I worked out, and me and AI got to working on it. I came up with a real good design, and I worked on the design, but I wasn't able to finish it before I got to Kansas. But it was really and I will finish it because I did make a 3D print. I just had to do the casting, but
Okay.
it's a big sunflower, and I'm just gonna inlay it with bamboo. So.
Okay. I've got some ideas myself. I spoke to you about it, of working with the printer, the 3D printer, and those ideas are percolating for, I think, styles for next year. So I don't think they're going to be evolved this year, but definitely working on it for next fall winter 2025 or 2024. So it's good. It's very good. I didn't think that I was going to be doing so. So I'm going to tell everybody, I did not think that I was going to be doing winter hats anymore because I was having such a hard time getting felts. My prices from my original supplier had gone up astronomically. There was no way I could have done hats. And then I researched, found this place, and I have been giddy ever since. Just like, oh, these colors, these felts, they're coming, and they're here. And I'm playing and having fun, and it's definitely feeding my spirit. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I see you trying to add machinery into it. I really like that. That's really
Yes.
Productivity is really important about the whole thing. So I just want to give a shout out to Chakoti. I see you're in the house.
Cody checked in. Hey, Chakoti. And also give a shout out to Sandra. Sandra, she is one of my very, very best customers. So thank you for checking into the show. Like I said, new designs will be uploaded to the website. I'm doing 33 fall designs, 33, and they'll be uploaded next week, and I will be showcasing some, if not all of them, depending, that, next Friday. Okay? All right. So I know it's going to be a short show today because we're really not showing anything, but I hope we provided you with some entertainment. Definitely. Don't forget, we've got our guest artist, Mel, from KI Jewelry. She's coming on next week to show some of her work as well.
Yeah, next week we will have some of your work, new work. We'll have some Mel's work. And then I'm going to have a couple of pieces that I'm sure I will be ready.
Okay.
Next week also.
Excellent.
So we're looking forward to having a good show. And thank all you guys for hanging out with us today.
Yes. We don't always have time to show work, or we're not ready to show work, but we do try to give you some insight into what it is in our lives and who we are as individuals to a certain extent. Okay. Because I can be very private, believe me. Getting nudged all the time by Lavalais, just like, okay. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the show.
All right.
All right.
Is there
Have a
someone
wonderful evening. Say that again, Lavalais.
I'm just wondering if there was anybody on the board we missed today.
I think we got everybody.
Yeah, we got Ether and Manhattan and Chakotay. Ether is in Connecticut, so she don't have to. Manhattan's in New Orleans, so she's going to have to deal with salt water coming up into her system pretty soon. They're having problems with salt water entering the Mississippi River. So whatever that means, hopefully you'll have some water to drink.
Okay. Well, and also hey to Tite and to Mel and to Sandra, who are also on the chat. Please follow us, join the family, share our Facebook, go to Instagram, like our pages, go to YouTube, click that notification bell, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really does help us, and we love to see it. So thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
See you next week.